Down there. Okay, so hello to stream. Uh, just go quick rundown. The stream and this channel in general is really about my learning right now. I'm focusing on learning Davinci Resolve, but the focus of this channel is meant to be about music. So it's mainly meant to be about how do I describe this? Uh, Essentially, the main aim is to teach people how to get from uh, someone who's not really, they know like maybe a little bit of music, but they don't know how to make their own music. They don't know how to jump from the step of I know how to play other people's music, now how do I make my own? And that's kind of what I want to present in this channel. It's also for my own sake as well, because I've only made one album, and I kind of want to document the process so that I know better, and hopefully you know better. But how long it would take for me to get there, don't know. So for now, I'm doing Davinci Resolve tutorials to teach myself how to make YouTube videos, so that I don't have to rely on streams, because I find that streams are good in the sense that they're more interactive with the audience, but the thing is I haven't got an audience. And until I get an audience, the streams aren't going to be entertaining. If the streams are entertaining, then I'm not going to get an audience. So it's about getting the audience first and then working from there. So yeah, I also might go over other topics as well. Sometimes I just get a bit lost in my own source. Like for example, I haven't been enjoying Acolyte so far. I've actually gone back. Sorry, this is Star Wars, by the way. Um, I've really enjoyed uh, some Star Wars content. Most notably, I kind of like The Mandalorian. It was okay. Um, I didn't think it was like the best show ever. Uh, Obi-Wan again was like okay, but I find it was just like a fanfic. Like it was well made, it was well directed, and on its own, it's a good series. But the problem with the series is that they didn't really do too much when it came to the action, and I felt it didn't do too much when it came to being respectful to the original lore. I guess George Lucas enjoyed it, so I guess it's not too bad. But I found that the issues that came along with Obi-Wan was shaky. I found Andor was very respectful of the Star Wars lore and also managed to make its own story within its world, and it was entertaining. The only problem was is that it was very slow and quite it was quite, I don't want to say boring at times, but it was like you had to be quite engaged with, you had to kind of focus on the show and what was going on because there was a lot of Star Wars at the end of the day is a show that's about um I find the main elements are its philosophy, its action, and its philosophy, its action. That's about it, really. Actually, it's like philosophy, action, and then like effects. So if you if you get like really good effects, so take like the prequels with the battle droids, right? So you have like the really cool effects there. You had, of course, the lightsabers themselves, and like all these spaceship battles. So that it was known for its effects. It was known for its philosophy. So like the moments when Yoda was on Dagobah and describing all of that stuff. The moments where you know you saw Darth Vader transform from um, a prodigy of the chosen one, given so much pressure, who loved people so much, and then went into bitter darkness, and then came back and recovered from that darkness because of the love of his son. So you know, there's all of that stuff, and then there is what else is there? There's the philosophy, the effects, and I forgot the other one that I mentioned. Philosophy, the effects, doesn't matter. Oh, and the action. Okay, and the action. So you know, Darth Vader and Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, or Anakin versus Obi-Wan, or Vader versus Luke. You know, all the times there was always a nice amount of action. I felt like Andor had none of those. I don't think it really was too strong in the effects. It had like some effects, but not anything groundbreaking. That's generally what it does. It generally does groundbreaking effects, and I don't think it did anything groundbreaking. Um, and it didn't really have philosophy. I guess really, if it had any philosophy, it was very political philosophy, and that is reminiscent of prequel stories. I like its political philosophy, and I think it was actually done very tastefully. It's done very well. So in that sense, it felt very Star Warsy. Um, and its action was not too strong. I felt in Andor. I feel like Andor still feels like the most Star Warsy thing that's been made, despite everything. It just it feels like it got all the elements right. It feels tense and interesting and intriguing. So I think Andor is probably the best project that Disney's made so far. Um, Acolyte, on the other hand, I felt like it's just been I don't know. It's just I feel like a lot of people are shitting on it because it messes up with some of the themes, like the Force. What was it? The Force child. Despite the fact that this was a thing that Darth Sidious was really struggling to do. Um, Darth Sidious, for the record, made Anakin Skywalker essentially. He made them with the Force. That's why um that's why Anakin's mum didn't have a father, right? There was no father figure. She was essentially the Virgin Mary, and Anakin was the chosen one, right? It's the same theme, um, and it was as a result of Darth Sidious trying to do something evil, twisted it around, and the Force denied that and decided to make the prodigy instead of I don't know the evil Force user that the Emperor wanted. That concept is cool, um, and I feel like Acolyte did take that away, but even just ignoring some of those stupid stuff, it's just a bit boring. There's not much philosophy into it, and if there is any philosophy, there's like very shallow philosophy that isn't doesn't expand on our understanding of the Force and understanding of the concepts that we've come to love. Um, it just doesn't feel that entertaining. I'm not saying like it's any worse than anything else that's really come out. I think all this outrage about the Acolyte is just I think it's just a result, honestly, of everything else that sucked beforehand. Like Ahsoka, I keep forgetting existed. Book of Boba, I keep forgetting existed. Any other shows that came out that they've brought out that I don't recognize? There's The Mandalorian. There's 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. I keep forgetting that. Mandalorian season 3 was such a snore. Like everything about these Star Wars shows has just been a bit crap, and I can't say I can't say I have much hope for Star Wars. Anyway, sorry, I got a bit distracted because we wanted to focus. To be honest, I was only going to do this for like 20 minutes and then close up because I am a bit busy. Oh, I should say as well, and I understand I'm only really talking to myself here. But I'm probably only going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing this today, and then tomorrow is my birthday, so I'm going to be gone. Just going to be gone next week or so. I'm going back to where my family is, so I'm going to be gone. And then when I come back, which will be around about Sunday, then I'll have a couple of days off, and I intend to stream around that time, so that'll be good. Is there anything else that's worth mentioning? Don't think so. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit of a mess. This last day has been tense at work. Work was literally I don't know how do I describe it. Work was a lot. There's just been a lot that's happened, and it's now reached this point, and now I don't have to touch it for the week. And I after this is done, it should be done, and that'll be it. Thinking about it real quick. I only check it. Let me just turn this to starting soon. Just don't want you to see my notifications just in case. So by the time it's Tuesday, I should be getting paid. Good. I get paid every end of the basically end of the month, like everyone else basically. Um, so right, I've only got so long to do this, so let's just get on with it.
So I'm just going to roughly hit an in and an out like that and just drag this into the timeline. Doesn't matter where, we're just throwing it in here because we're going to work with it here in a few minutes. Next clip.
You go check it out.
So that way she pauses for a lot longer. Now, most of the time, you want it to just feel natural, right? So
go check it out.
So she thinks for just a second. And right as she kind of starts to turn her head here, that's where we'll cut in. Select all of those and just roll them back. Select this empty space and move it up.
Check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine. The other thing we like to do is when there's an action, like her pushing him, it's nice to cut on that action. And so if we kind of bring this up where she pushes him like this, we could cut right in the middle of that push. So right as she's pushing him like that, and it kind of follows through. She starts pushing in this shot, and he ends up moving through that shot.
You go check it out.
And it feels a lot more natural, even though this was shot maybe an hour after this shot. Feels like it's all the same moment.
No, you go check it out.
Fine. And so that's really how you build a story here in the edit page. Now, a couple of shortcuts that I think are really helpful. Let's say we want to cut into this shot all the way up. So
we watch
come over
this
here
part.
buttons that are go to my value are really fine. And that's really how you start to build your story. So let's go ahead and work through an edit here, and I'll show you a really easy way to get a basic story lined out in your timeline. I'm just going to go to my footage, anything that I know that is in this scene, and just double click on it. And we're going to start by kind of scrubbing through it, seeing what happens. So this is the wide shot of him approaching the craft. So I'm just going to roughly hit an in.
So we're going to go back to our edit footage, edit here. Got this. Up there. How do we punch in? See, it says mark in there, but it doesn't give me a shortcut. Mark in and mark out. Shortcuts in G. So So I'm here. In.
And an out like that, and just drag this into the timeline.
Yeah. Out. That's quite cool. That's fairly intuitive as well. As soon as you understand the shortcuts, I find that with most programs, as soon as you understand some of the basic shortcuts, so like in programming, it would be Control K, Control C to comment out a block of code, and then Control K, Control U to uncomment a block of code. Just as an example, it's great for understanding coding.
Doesn't matter where, we're just throwing it in here because we're going to work with it here in a few minutes. Next clip. This is the shot of them looking at the craft. So I'm using J, K, and L to kind of page through this, and we're going to start right before they step in.
That's quite cool. Oh, actually, let's mute this. In. It's too long on that shot. Stick that. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Oh, two interconnects. I swear that was a quick key. Oh, no, like a quick key, like Alt something. We'll learn these in time. I think now we're just gonna. Okay, let's get this in.
There we go. And we crane up like this. And let's hit O for out. Then it's a matter of, does this happen before or after this clip? It happens before. And so I can move my playhead before the clip. And then this first icon, this insert clip, I can insert it and it will put it there in the timeline before my first clip. So that happens before it in Pretend Land, right? Next, let's go to this clip here. Great. That goes in between these two clips.
Okay. So, oop. Again. Stick it. Stick it. Insert. Insert. No. One of these is insert. None of those. Insert.
So I'll just hit insert. Next, this is going to go during that clip. Again, I'll probably just use that override idea. Just put this right over her line. There we go. Next clip. Idea. During that clip, insert. Next, this is going to go during that clip. Again, I'll probably just use that override idea. Just put this right.
That's already set. There and then override clip. It says it twice. Ah. I'll be right back. Oh no. Oh, that was not a good sneeze. Okay. Alright. Good to go. Again, what are we doing? let's zoom in there. Let's find out what that hotkey is. Hotkey to zoom in on a clip. Shift Z. Just realized what was happening. Okay, there's no. So there we go. There. Good. Oh. Oh. Seconds too long. Okay. That is the right.
Over her line. There we go. Next clip.
Next. Okay. Well, we're going next clip anyway. But I like that I at least edited that the way I was intending to. Oh. So then we go in and out. So this here. God damn it, I keep clicking. And then it's the bit with this, right? Probably not even that. It's this bit.
Go check it out. I'll go check it out.
All right, so this is an alternate angle, and I don't have to make a bunch of decisions right now. I could probably just insert this for now, and we'll work on this later. But I'm just getting all the media that I want into the timeline. So this is kind of the beginning.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just
I'm
picking
being
the
a
tank
bit
that
too
I want.
quick.
Great. This is going to go before everything else. I'll hit Shift Z to
So he puts all his media in first and kind of decides how much of the clip that they want, that they need.
back up. We'll go all the way to the beginning. Insert that.
Interesting. Shift Z. Say Z. I mean Z. Why is start insert clip there.
Go to the next. So this is her looking on as he walks forward. We'll just, and this is
Just wanted to see that bit. It seems funny. Let's stick that there. I don't know, does that happen like here-ish? Is there even a bit that's highlighted? It's not. Let's say, get to this point, go in. I don't know why I'm taking the full clip. Just need insert, oh, so at the right at the start. Timelines there. The shift Z. Oh. See if we can make this work. So stops there. This bit. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to look good or not. I'm trying to think for myself when I do this. Okay, that's quite good. I don't like that line for. So what if I zoom in there? Go that. Okay, that's too sudden. There. bit too sudden there. Did like a bit when he crouches down. There isn't. No, that doesn't look
This is
natural.
going to go somewhere in there. Not really even sure where, but I'll just throw that in. It's okay. You don't have to know everything right off the bat. Here's another angle of him walking up. There we go. And we'll throw this in there too. I can hit L multiple times to play at double speed or even 4 or 8x speed to kind of scrub through this really quickly. So again, I'll put this somewhere in here. I'll just insert it there. Here's a close-up of him.
Oh, that's quite cool. Let's go in on there. Okay, yeah. So around about there. If you want to stop. So we want to go in like that, and we want to stick this around about here. Override clip. So don't want to startle bit. Do that step. Go here, and then go here. I don't know. That, and then this. Then this happens. No, I don't know if that's the actors. I don't know if that's me. I don't.
Good. It's going to go somewhere in there also. Then we have the over-the-shoulder shot.
I think it's a bit more difficult when I don't really know what the story is. Frankly, I don't know what the sort of know the elements. Like, see an alien thing, they look at it and they go, "Whoa, you check it out." No, you check it out. They walk up to the thing. They get startled by something moving. They move the flashlight over, back, two shots. Okay. So that goes before. So he's going up. Going up, he's going up, he's going up. Between here and here is this clip. That'll do. And it's like, just drag it there for now. I just want to see what he does.
Great. And we'll put this in there somewhere too. So now I have all of my footage thrown in here in roughly the order that I want. I can close my media pool because I don't really need that anymore. And now it's a matter of going through and making these kind of make sense in the story. So we can start at the beginning. And one thing that might be helpful is to grab the divider here between the audio and the video tracks, and you can kind of push this up, and you can take the divider between the audio tracks and push this down, and you can see a lot bigger waveforms.
Oh. Why we have audio too. Also don't know what's with all the popping of the audio. I don't know if that's just my end or what.
Here, because a lot of the time you're going to edit around sounds that happen in dialogue and that kind of thing. So it's nice to really see clearly where those are.
Whoa.
Okay, they say whoa, and then
Wish they looked at each other quicker. Okay. Snip here. Back. That cut doesn't make sense. I don't know if that cut makes sense either. I don't even know
and
what
what
the
do
fuck's
they
going on
see?
there.
I'm just going to chop the edge off of this with Control-Shift right bracket. And let's get rid of this empty space here. What do they see? I think we'll just bring it in right about there. I'll hit Control-Shift left bracket to chop the front off of that. It's kind of
Control Shift left. Interesting.
goes up like that. Same thing, I'll cut off the end. So what do they see?
Whoa.
Yeah, they see that. Whoa. Now their reaction. Let's let them just think about it for a little bit.
Go check it out.
Quickly zoom in here. That kind of suddenly cuts. Okay.
No, you go check it out.
Now to get really detailed here, we can zoom in. If I hold Alt and roll up with my scroll wheel on my mouse, I can zoom way in. You can also move this slider right here to zoom in or out on the playhead. Okay, so she looks kind of that way. Turn that off. One thing that can sometimes be helpful is to uncheck this magnet. This turns on our snapping. Snapping is when if you get close to the edge of a clip, your playhead kind of jumps to the edge of that clip. And also if you're moving clips around, they kind of snap together like that. If you turn this off, then it doesn't really snap to anything. You can be a little bit more precise. So let's take a look at this. So she's already looking that way, and we'll just trim it like this.
No, you go check it out.
Okay. Okay, check it out. Control Shift left bracket. Get. There we go.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Okay, now we have this reaction from him, which I like that. We don't need the other parts.
Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
Let's cut after OK.
Okay.
Second longer there. So up.
Fine.
So maybe right as she pushes him and then he looks back that way. Maybe we'll cut on that.
Fine.
We could cut right on that move if we wanted to. And now we can take these clips and swap them actually. If I hold Control Shift and then less than, I can move this clip and kind of swap it with other clips. So let's just see how this works.
You go check it out.
Fine.
This clip is a little bit short, so we can take this and extend it a little bit.
Oh, you go check it out.
Fine.
That's actually quite good. Okay. I see the genius in editing there. Copy this. Paste it. Here. This over here. Just a little bit. That, and then you go, and then that gives you there. Not quite enough. Let's go back. Shift it again. Do this, Mr. Editor.
This clip is a little bit short, so we can take this and extend it a little bit.
Oh, you go check it out.
Fine.
Do a taste it. Okay, zoom in there. Nope. Zoom. It. Control Shift bracket. And on this one, as the head turns. So that it's all one smooth motion. Okay, you don't see it. Let's just extend that a bit more. Couple of like, okay, perfect. That is perfect. I'm becoming a movie editor, guys. Let's do this.
Fine. Okay. I'll check it out.
So we could cut to him right there.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Bring a little bit more time there.
Okay. I'll check it out.
I don't know how he makes it seem so natural. Is that because the shot list was made maybe beforehand, so he just has a bit more knowledge, or is that something that I'm missing? It's this angle, that's the other thing. I don't know why there's a darker color, so let's just that.
Could also cut to the other angle.
Check it out.
Right, so if a scene looks good, because it didn't sound that great when he said I'd check it out on that other angle. So
Which I like that a little better. I think that's a better angle.
Okay. Check it out.
And now he approaches the ship, right? And so this is really where it comes down to personal preference. How do you want to tell the story? What clips do you want to use? What order should they be in? How long should each of them be? What's the pacing in between the clips? And so let's go ahead and jump to the edit page finished timeline. And this is what we ended up doing for the actual movie.
Whoa.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine. Okay. Check it out.
And so we have these other shots mixed in.
God,
We
now
have her look-
watching. Sorry, I haven't stand that for guys. In the actual video,
No, you go check it out.
Fine. Okay.
look at this.
Check it out.
That's okay. That it's actually funny. Yeah, they're sticking the same audio throughout that bit. It doesn't look as natural. I like this. I like the shot of the other person, but that doesn't.
Check it out.
Has that, and then shoots to that. But it doesn't look as natural. I don't know.
And so we have these other shots mixed in. We have her looking on. We have a shot of him approaching the ship, his reaction,
that?
her reaction. All of this just mixed into one moment. Now, something to mention is that the audio isn't super great here. This is just
Yeah. Okay.
what we would do if we were to line things out in the edit page. Before we render this, we would want to clean up the audio, add some footsteps, add some sound effects and all of that stuff. Make sure that the voices sound level and all of that stuff, which some of that we can do in the edit page, but we're mostly going to worry about that in Fairlight in this course. Now let's talk about how to get a little bit more detailed. Any of these clips in the timeline, if we want to adjust some of the details about them, we just select it, and then we can go up here to the upper right and click Inspector.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to this.
Now, this is where all of the properties live for something that's in the timeline. And generally, anywhere in Resolve, if you have something selected and you go to the inspector, you can adjust the properties for it. Okay, so just kind of get used to that. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here.
So I could just really bass boost this audio. That's good to know. Can you put your own? You must be able to put your own audio effects on here, although maybe not in the free version. That's really cool though, actually, if it was the case that I could put my own audio. I really wanted to. Lots of mids there. This isn't a great EQ, to be honest with you. Judge the audio. Mix EQ. So you can look at kind of go OL maybe. All right.
So I'll just select.
But we know there's here to some extent. The effects in. Other look, and they're my actual put in battery. Just put in a drum for the fuck of it. That's actually quite cool. So a lot of these things are actually crossing over now. a lot of my things. That's quite cool.
This footage, and starting in this upper part, we have our transform. So transform is like moving things around, turning them, rotating them, positioning them, that kind of thing, zooming them in. So we can zoom stuff in, we can change its position, we can change its rotation angle. We can even do pitch and yaw, which kind of does sort of like a 3D transform-ish looking thing, which can be useful sometimes. We can also flip this on the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. This is the kind of stuff that you're going to use a lot. Also, in the lower left-hand corner of our viewer, there's this little transform button. And if you click on that and it turns white, you can actually grab the image and move it around here in the viewer. So lower left-hand corner of our viewer, there's this little transform button. And if you click on that and it turns white, you can actually grab the image and move.
Interested how you close down this image.
Moving things around, turning them, rotating them. And now he approaches the ship, right? And so this is really where it comes down to personal preference. How do you want to tell the story? All of them, that kind of thing. Zooming, just kind of, if we want to talk about level and all of that stuff, which some of that we can do in the edit page, but we're mostly going to worry about that in Fairlight in this course. Now let's talk about how to get a little bit more detailed. Any of these clips in the timeline, if we want to adjust some of the details about them, we just select it, and then we can go up here to the upper right and click Inspector. Now this is where all of the properties live for something that's in the timeline.
When they clicked Inspector, it somehow got rid of everything else. Effects, sound library. I don't know how you minimize this. Can I just move this temporarily? Huh. That. Isn't that like the Superman reference? Where it starts rotating like this? Actually, it's this way, isn't it?
Line. And generally anywhere in Resolve, if you have something selected and you go to the inspector, you can adjust the properties for it. Okay, so just kind of get used to that. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger here. So I'll just select this footage, and starting in this upper part, we have our transform. So transform is like moving things around, turning them, rotating them, positioning them, that kind of thing, zooming them in. So we can zoom stuff in, we can change its position, we can change its rotation angle. We can even do pitch and yaw, which kind of does sort of like a 3D transform-ish looking thing, which can be useful sometimes. We can also flip this on the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. This is the kind of stuff that you're going to use a lot. Also, in the lower left-hand corner of our viewer, there's this little transform button. And if you click on that and it turns white, you can actually grab the image and move it around here in the viewer. You can grab this little handle to rotate it. You can grab the corners to scale it and move it around, and that's really helpful too. But this is the same kind of controls as our transform. In fact, if you move this around, you can see our position moving around as we move it. You can reset any of these controls with this little circle arrow. You can do a single control like this, or all of them for the group here with this circle with the plus. To turn off this overlay, you just click on that button again.
I kind of want to know how to do that frame by frame. Is there like a frame by frame mode? It's going to be this one, isn't it? I think we can find this symbol on here. Oh, don't know. Oh, this? This? Ooh. Oh, quite what I was after. Place. I think we're going to learn this probably more when we actually go to this mode. Traveling around in space. Fine.
And now you can't move things around. We also have quite a bit of other controls, including cropping, so we can crop this footage the left, right, top, or bottom. When we have this cropped, we can also adjust the softness of the crop. Great for a lot of situations. we have a dynamic zoom, and this is really cool. This will actually take a shot and it will zoom it out throughout the duration of the shot. You can also swap it to zoom it in.
Okay, before we continue messing around with this at least somewhat. I mean, I still want it to be a bit dumb, but too dumb. Okay, dynamic zoom, ease in. Can we improve the speed of this? Just realized. Is this still working? It is, okay. We've been going. Oh, okay.
Throughout the duration of the shot, that works really well, and you have some options for easing. This is really great if you're doing something like a slideshow, or if you want to just make your edit a little bit more dynamic. You can even just select multiple different clips here in the timeline. And if you have multiple clips selected, you can adjust the properties common to all of the clips. And so I could just turn on dynamic zoom for everything. And now look what happens. This is zooming out on every shot, which may or may not be what we actually want.
That is exactly what I want, obviously. So, is there a reason I can't hear this anymore, by the way? So we got in. All just zooming out. It might not be that bad of a feature.
For this kind of thing, it's actually not a good idea. But for something, if you have kind of a high action edit where it's nice to have those kind of dynamic moves, that can be really helpful. Now, we don't want to do it for this. Let's not dynamically zoom every single shot. We also have composite mode and opacity for each shot, so we can turn the opacity down. We can change the composite mode. If it's over something else, we'll actually be able to see that. So I can switch that to add. That's going to mix these together depending on what you want to do. And these are just like composite modes in any other kind of layer-based program. And there's also some more advanced things like stabilization, lens correction, that kind of thing, as well as retiming and scaling controls. You have a lot of control over the visual aspects of whatever clip you have selected here in the inspector. But up at the top, there are some other tabs here. If we click on audio, this is where we can adjust the volume and the pan, the pitch, and even our equalizer for whatever clip we have selected. And we can get really detailed with our audio, even just here in the edit page. So even if you don't want to jump into Fairlight later, you have quite a bit of control over how loud your clips are and what they sound like and all of that. So some of this audio.
See, yeah, none of the audio is even coming out. Assume. Oh, is it because batteries in? Yeah, okay. That's why. Sense. That's quite cool. Ooh. Yeah, that's exactly what. What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing?
Fine. Go check it out.
Actually, yeah, I want to hear that bit. Freaking Alvin and the Chickmunks, this bitch.
stuff we're going to get into in Fairlight, and it works in a very similar way. But if you do want to adjust audio here in the edit page, here's where you can do it. You can even just click on this track header and you have a little bit of control over your volume for your track here in the edit page. You can also go to the mixer and do a little bit of adjustment of track volume, as well as a little bit of panning here in the mixer. Now, let's say we want to start getting fancy here in the edit page. In the upper left-hand corner, I can open up my effects panel. That's going to open up kind of under my media pool. I'll just close my...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's just get some effects. Is there that... I don't know what the fuck this... On a transition. Video trans... Audio trans... Oh, crossfade, okay. Thought it was going to be something crazy. You know when you're on PowerPoint and you think, well, at least this is what I used to think. I used to think like, okay, what's the coolest looking transition? It was always, I think it was called Dissolve. It was just basically all the pixels transform from one to the other. But that is utterly fuck ups.
my media pool, so we have lots of room. And this is where we have all kinds of different things that we can do to our clips in our edit page, as well as some fancy stuff that we can add to our edit here. So probably one of the more obvious uses would be to actually put an effect on here. Now, ironically, a lot of the effects that you might want, something like a blur or something like that, isn't really under effect.
I don't know. Give me some text. Give me text now. We're never going to get through this. We just need to finish this last bit off, but first, this bit. Oh my god. Oh my god, I haven't had this much fun in a while. Oh, Twitter. I don't know. I don't know why it's funny. It's not even funny. That's the thing. It's not even funny. It's just me laughing at my own crap. It's the most top. Okay, so this surely must be something that can be, must be a way for this to be I don't know what the term would be. Like yeah, so there's like background, the shadow, and like overlay type. Or put this here. Oh. I don't even fuck is patent. Okay. There's like a turn to the right. I'm gonna to be perfectly over her face, but that she, when she moves her face, she what the fuck are we doing? Cross. I don't even. What are we doing? Let's add this instead. It's got to be a overlay type square setting. It's got to be. Brightener. Oh, okay, that's fine. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. But we're working it out, okay, bit by bit. Well, oh, at least we're working it out. At least we're learning this stuff.
This is really where a lot of the fusion-based effects live. But if you go to Open Effects, then you'll find a lot of the filters and things that you're used to, things like blur, box blur, lens blur, some color effects, some keyers and kind of green screen ability things like ways to add lens flares and glows and lens reflections and light rays and all kinds of cool stuff. This is where all of that lives here in the effects panel under Open Effects. And so you can go through and play around with these.
Okay, so there are effects. Okay, I don't want this. But this video could advanced stuff. I don't want a blur. I don't want that. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Perfect. Let's color it. Oh, make this black. black. I didn't say red. I did say red. I don't want it red. Why am I making it do such a stupid voice?
There are quite a bit of effects that I have here that you might not have in the free version. That is one of the limitations of the free version, but there are still quite a bit of really cool effects in the free version, just not quite as many. There are some really cool ones that are only in the paid version of Resolve. Now, to apply an effect, let's just put a blur on this. I'll just take this lens blur, and we can double click on it, and that'll add that to whatever clip that we have selected. And then if we select the clip and go over to the inspector, we have a new tab here that's available, Effects. And under Open Effects here, we have all of our adjustments for this effect. So we can adjust the blur size, how bright the highlights are, and all of that kind of stuff. And so again, when you have the clip selected, you can adjust the properties of the effects that you have on the clip right here in the Effects tab here in the inspector. To get rid of an effect, you can just click the garbage can like that. Let's say we want to add some text or some kind of title over this. Over here in the effects panel, we have several different categories here. We've been playing with open effects. We also have audio effects, by the way, which we'll get into later. But under our toolbox, we have something called titles. And under titles here at the top, we have our basic text.
I already
grab
knew
basic
this.
text like when you drew, like I would have clicked. Select it. Under Blur, ways to generate a gradient, ways to generate color bars, that kind of thing. Just in the edit page of Resolve, you have just about everything that you need to be able to create a video. In fact, you could even go up to Workspace and just turn off Show Page Navigation right here. And you have everything that you need right here. This is basically like a program like Final Cut or Premiere. This is everything that you need to be able to preview and select your footage, bring it into the timeline, create a story, and get detailed with the properties of all of your clips and mix them together and adjust the audio and apply effects and all of that kind of thing. Really, the only thing you can't do super well in the edit page is color grade. And that's because the color page is just so fantastic. And Resolve started with color, and so there wasn't really a big need to make a robust color effect here in the edit page. But I would say like 90% of what you need to do in Resolve, you could probably do in the edit page if you're just making a basic video and you're not trying to get into super detailed motion graphics or visual effects or compositing.
Okay, so the next bit is cut page. So, okay, we're finishing it off there. I really, really, really want to know one major thing, which I don't know you can do on this. Davinci Resolve, how to move, say camera, move.
Today I want to show you how to enter tracker in the search bar, then go down and click on Add. Now move your timeline slider to where you want to begin motion tracking, then go over to Controls and click on Set. Under Pattern, expand the tracker dropdown and select Hybrid Point, then under
So let's take this clip. It's an incredible clip. Not that one. This one. Maybe this one. This one. Oh. So planar tracker. I just search. That's gotta be it. How did I have done this before. I've used this mode before, so I think that's how I don't know, what am I doing? Okay. There, that's it. There. To there.
Motion, select Translation. Now click the square box around the object you want to track, then go over and click this button so it tracks to the end of your video. Once complete, expand the operation mode and select Stabilize. Now if we go back to our edit screen, we can see a black edge where Davinci has cut stabilize tracks to the end of your video. Once complete, expand the operation mode and select Stabilize. Now if we go back to our edit screen,
take.
Then go down and click on Add. Now move your timeline slider to where you want to begin motion tracking, then go over to Controls and click on Set.
Controls set.
Under Pattern, expand the tracker dropdown and select Hybrid Point.
Good point.
Then under Motion, select Translation.
Motion select.
Now click a square box around the object you want to track, then
Square thing I want to track.
go over and click this button so it tracks to the
X. Complete my thing. Okay. Back a couple of steps. Can I remove this? No. It's all together. Let's go again. Planar track. Connect. Starting frame. There. And hybrid. Go. Okay, something. I don't really know what that's doing. I don't know what that's
the
doing.
end of your video.
It's sort of,
Once complete,
I'm sure it's worked.
expand the operation mode and select Stabilize.
Stabilize, maybe it's sing.
Now if we go back to our edit screen, we can see a black edge where Davinci has cut off the frames to make the object being tracked fit inside the screen. To correct this, simply zoom in enough where you can no longer see the black edges of the frame.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Frame.
Let's not worry about that. I just want to move the camera around.
All right, so you can't afford your own cameraman to, and then move forward 8 frames using our right arrow key. Then under size, we're gonna
Instead. Get rid of this. Add tool. Transform.
zoom in on my face like this because, you know, we gotta get a zoom in on that form node up here on the hotbar. And while holding down shift, drag it in onto the line until that line turns blue and then just drop it in. In the inspector,
Oh, so it's like a default. Doing that whole shift thing. Just click on your media and then click on this and then you transform.
tab, we're gonna add a keyframe under size and center, and then move forward 8 frames using our right arrow key. Then under size, we're gonna zoom in on my face like this because, you know, we gotta.
Okay. Then we're going to start here. Going to go size and center, and I'm also going to do angle. Move forward. Then we're going to use the size. Center. Perfect. Oh, we have actually it. Center this as well. Just enter it ourselves. That's absolutely. Thank you very, very much. This. No. Fuck, at this point, I don't think it actually makes sense. Okay, I think at this point I know about as much about how to use this as I know Sony Vegas, and I know because I'm making the most stupid. So about this point, I want it to be 90 degrees. This point. This point. This is so much easier than Sony Vegas as well. This point. Just keep going. Okay. Right, let's see this masterpiece. Good. Good. Oh. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. That was a lot longer than I thought it was going to go. Pretty proud of myself. Okay, I've learned Nvidia has surpassed Microsoft to become the world's most valuable company. Let's look at my shares. Nearly about to get to the 900 mark. That's insane. Well, anyway, I'm going to get the fuck out. So we've learned edit. We've actually learned a bit of fusion as well. Hopefully we'll learn cut and then properly fusion everything else afterwards. But like I said, I'm going to be away for a bit. I don't know how much I'm going to learn in my own time. I just don't think I'm going to have a lot of time to learn in my own time, but I'm going to try and refresh my memory on what I already know while I'm away. That's the aim. Anyway,